Good morning, folks. This is Great Judy at Green Pastures Farm. We just moved mob into one of what we call the brush paddocks. This one is the one we cleared the ridges with the grapples on the tractor. Those ridges are all thorn trees about 2 months ago. And just getting the thorn trees off, we've opened up a lot of grass. And we did take a few cedars out. I'm actually up here in a deer stand. This is the seat, and that's the ladder. So this is a tripod. It's about, I don't know, 12 feet in the air, and it's got a deal here around the edge of it. And anyway, you've got three areas that you can look at here. One where the cows are there, of course down there, and down that ridge over there. So there's tons of cover in here for deer, and there's been some really nice ones harvested out of here over the last 20 years. And but it had grown up so bad that you couldn't even really see anything in here. So we did a little bit of clearing, so we're going to see how that affected the movement in here. We still have tons of cover. Just now you can see them a little better. But it's a beautiful morning in October. The mob is happy to be on this lush green grass. And so this is October 3rd. Deer season opens November 14th. I think that's the second Saturday of the month. So we're here, 35 to 40 days before season, and we're going to mow this off with the cows, and then by deer season it'll be really vegetative if it does grow back, and we're only going to leave them in here about 8 hours today. There's about there's about 13 acres in here, but it's a lot of that stuff, brush, and there's some forage down there. Right now they're just getting the candy, but they'll get down in the brush, and they'll remove some of that autumn olive leaves and the honeysuckle leaves and even sumac leaves, and all the leaves are going to be coming off these trees here in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. So we're going to graze them before we do that, before they fall on the ground. The cattle eat a lot of that. Boy, it's starting to feel like fall. I've got a stocking hat on and gloves. We didn't have any frost this morning, which is, I'm thankful for that. If we can just keep the frost away, the grass will keep growing. And it's very heavy dew this morning. Really heavy dew. But these cattle came about a mile this morning through other farms that we've already grazed off. So we just built a lane all the way here. And I was in the lead on the four-wheeler, and the boys, they're still bringing up the rear down there. They're probably wondering where I'm at. But we're going to lock them in here. And then tonight, I don't know if you can see that opening way over yonder. There's about another 12 acres on that ridge, and that'll dump us into our bottom land where we don't have the brush and more grazing type land. But this is just a beautiful view up here, isn't it? I mean, I can sit in this stand for hours, and I don't care if I see a deer or not. It's just, it's just so beautiful. And the fall colors are starting to show. Kind of got the fog rising there in the morning, coming off the hills, and the colors are starting to come into shape. It's just a beautiful day to be alive. You can see over there that red, that's the sumac. It's already turned red, and those leaves will be off here in about another 2 weeks. You get a good wind, they'll just blow them off. A lot of the honey locusts have already lost their leaves. Here's a wild cherry right next to me, and wild plum, of course, oak. Not sure what that one is. almost looks like pawpaw leaves, but it's not. It's not big enough. But this is just a beautiful place to spend the morning. You know, just come up here. You don't need to bring a gun. Just bring your camera and set up here in binoculars and just observe what's going on around you. If we hadn't brought the mob in here this morning, you could have sat here and seen numerous deer, coyotes, probably some turkeys. You know, you're at one with nature when you're back in here. This used to be called well, we still call it that. I'm a little hesitant to use the name because it is a little bit coarse, but the hunters have always called this the hellhole paddock. And it's just what it is. I mean, sometimes you name things and it kind of sticks with it. But it's a beautiful place back in here. And this is one of our lease farms. We've had this one leased since 2001. But it's pretty back in here. We're a little bit hesitant to remove any more brush because this is one of our prime hunting areas. And so you don't want to go in here and take very much brush out of here. We did reclaim some of the ridge tops, but those draws down there are still heavily brushed, a lot of cedar. You can hardly climb through it. And that's good. That's what you need to hold trophy deer or any deer on your property. If it all looks like that right there in front of us, that bare spot, you're not going to have any wildlife. You got to have some of this cover to hold them. That's their home. So when they get inclement weather, they can get back in there. And the brush piles, we made a bunch of brush piles, so we got tons of rabbitat. There's going to be rabbits all over this place, and I like rabbits. I know in some countries, particularly Australia, rabbits are a nuisance. I mean, I guess they about took over your country, but we don't have rabbits like that over here. We've got coyotes and foxes and hawks and all these things that like to eat rabbits. And so our rabbit population never really gets overpopulated. There's just too many things like to eat them. And so they are a prey animal, and everything's trying to eat rabbit, which keeps the balance, you know, in nature. It keeps it balanced. If you didn't have something eating all the rabbits, they would become overpopulated. They would eat all your grass, and you wouldn't have anything left to feed your animals. So I understand that part of it. But over here, you know, if we can get some rabbitat going, that also holds field mice. Yeah, there's going to be a coon or possum den up in there, probably a fox. But I don't know. I just kind of like having all the different critters. And if you adopt the mentality that every species that you can attract to your farm, it supports 8 additional ones. And if you look at that as a spider web of life, you know, all these different strands of the spider web are all making your farm stronger. So the more spider web strands that you have going around the farm, everything is stronger. Everything is stronger. Oh, and I get this. People say, but Greg, what, you know, having a coyote on your farm, how does that make it stronger? Well, if the coyote wasn't here, then you'd have an explosion of rabbits. And there's a really good book. I don't remember exactly, something Don Coyote or something like that. In other words, it was written by a guy out west, and he was determined that the coyotes were going to run him out of the ranching business. And so he hired a professional trapper to come in, and they trapped all the coyotes, shot them, poisoned them, and did a good job of it. They got rid of all the coyotes. And the guy almost went bankrupt. Because what happened next was the prairie dogs just exploded. And the prairie dogs love bare soil, and so they eat the grass real short and kill it out. So he had prairie dog colonies all over his ranch now, and no grass for his cows. And so he was convinced, as a starting beginning rancher, what you need is a pair of pliers, a fence stretcher, and a set of coyotes. So he kind of changed his tune, you know. And we're the same way here. We don't shoot coyotes. I used to shoot them every time I saw one. I'd shoot it. That's before I had sheep, and now we don't shoot them anymore. We don't lose any we don't lose anything to predators because coyotes mate for life. And when you shoot one of them, well, now there's 7 or 8 more coming to take that one's place, and then you will start losing baby lambs, you'll start losing baby calves and all this other stuff. And Ian woke me up to that in Africa. I mean, he'd shoot every predator on the ranch, and every time he did, he'd start losing baby calves. And now he doesn't do that. And the wild predators, they, the wildlife, baby kudu or impala or a gemsbuck or whatever, they leave his calves alone. Isn't that a beautiful sight? My gosh. Fat red cattle on green grass. Got a beautiful sunrise in the back. No sun coming out yet, but you can see it. It's behind the clouds there. Wow. Fortunate to be in a setting like this. Anyway, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover this morning. Just a great October day, and I'm getting a lot of people asking about our grazing school and coming up in the spring. I have not put it on the website yet, but I'm going to, and that is May 6th through the 8th, held at Judy Farms, and it's already half full, and I haven't advertised it yet, but we're going to get it up there, and look forward to seeing a bunch of y'all this spring, and y'all have a great fall. I hope the frost stays off a little while longer, and you can get some rain, and you can grow some winter stockpile, because it is that time of year. This is cool season growing weather, and we just need some moisture. Everyone have a good one. You new folks to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'd really like that. And hit the like button. And we'll see y'all down the road.